half an hour. Is it mute? Are you hearing?
Yes, we can hear.
Welcome to the evening session of this Reviving the Higher Self retreat. And in our practice of meditation, there are a few things that are useful to know beforehand. One thing is that you are the creator of your own thoughts. And sometimes it may feel that thoughts just pop up in our mind and they just come. And in a way that also happens, certain thoughts pop up, but they come from our subconscious, or they are triggered by external situations or certain sense impressions. But still, our thoughts are our creation. They emerge in our mind, they come on the screen of our mind, and we have this thing that we call intellect, this power to discern, with which we can guide the mind and which we can decide which thoughts to have and which thoughts to not have. And if we train our mind, as if gently teach our mind what thoughts to think and what thoughts not to think. Is there something wrong with the camera or?
Yeah, it moved automatically.
Better now?
Yeah. Now
So if we teach our mind kindly, gently, teach the mind what to think, what not to think, which thoughts to have and which thoughts not to have. Now, this is a gentle process over time, during the day, and then when you meditate, it becomes easier to choose certain type of thoughts and other thoughts not. So to during the day have a little bit of a check on the quality of your thinking. Of course, there are deeper factors behind why certain thoughts pop up, and we will come to that in tomorrow's morning session or the day after. But just to kind of overall have a certain what is the word? Observant attitude towards your thoughts. Are these thoughts that I'm having now, are they useful? Are they relevant or are they useless? And when I started to kind of check my thoughts, I was horrified to see how many useless thoughts we have. How many thoughts that really don't lead to anything much. And many of those thoughts are cyclical, repetitive, the same thing over and over again, and doesn't lead to anything except making my mind cluttered and exhausting my energy. Now, meditation is this practice of training your mind to choose useful thoughts, to choose positive thoughts, and even to choose noble thoughts and spiritual thoughts. And why is it important to have certain thoughts in your mind, or to be aware of the kinds of thoughts you have? It is important because your thoughts are like the beginning of your words. The thoughts are the beginning of your actions. But also, thoughts are the seeds of your feelings. and your emotions. So for example, if you think the whole day stressful thoughts or negative thoughts or wasteful and useless thoughts, how will you feel at the end of the day? Stressful and negative and useless. Because those are the kinds of thoughts you have been allowing your mind to think. Now, the process of meditation is gently guiding your thoughts into a spiritual experience. And so that process is a bit of a subtle process, and we are not used to doing this. Generally, we are used to be very externally oriented and always our attention focused on some sense experience or some external achievement. But now the idea is that you train this inner muscle, this mind, that this mind can become a beautiful mind, a place where beautiful thoughts emerge, where empowering thoughts emerge, where inspiring thoughts emerge, where noble thoughts emerge. And you are the first one who is experiencing this mind and experiences the benefit of this. So let us aim to have for the next 25 minutes or so, in a relaxed way, full focus, in a way where there is interest and attention, fully, but with interest and a kind of a fun, like a hobby, to explore the beauty and the power of your own mind and this ability to create thoughts, to choose your thoughts. And if you have this ability to choose thoughts, why not choose the highest? Why not choose the best? At least when we're thinking about ourselves, how to see the self, what type of thoughts to think about the self. And this morning we had said the real self is this subtle, invisible experiencer, a being of consciousness, a being with innate divine potential, a being of light. And that being is a guest in this body and uses this body to interact and have different experiences. But we are this being of consciousness. So just let us take this coming few minutes, really get into that awareness. And take off your gadgets, your do away with all the attachments. your cell phone and television and whatever, computer, shut it off. And the people around, if there's anyone, just tell them this time is for me. Let the body relax. Sit comfortably. Take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. And consciously withdraw your attention from the external and the different impressions from the day and what happened. And just bring all your attention, all your awareness here and now. Become aware of the position of the body. Make sure that the back is straight. Become aware how the feet touch the floor and how the back of the body touches the back of the chair. Just become aware. Relax the hands. Become aware of the heartbeat. Aware of how the air is pulled into the lungs on inhalation and pushed out of the lungs on exhalation. Relax the muscles of the shoulders and the neck. This loyal vehicle, the body. And create a certain feeling of appreciation. How this body serves us every day again and again and again. What a beautiful gift from nature. And now also become aware of the one who is using the body, the one who is sitting behind the eyes, using these eyes as windows. The one who is using the information that comes in through the ears. The one who is using this mouth to speak. It's not the mouth itself that speaks, but it is the inner being, consciousness, that uses the mouth to communicate ideas and concepts. Just become aware of this body as an instrument for this inner being, a higher being, the soul. And if it helps, then just use the image of a tiny star. Sitting behind the eyes. Using the eyes as windows. And hold in the mind this thought of the inner being, the soul, and hold in the mind this image of the tiny star with this awareness that this is the essence of who I am. Invisible experiencer. Free. Timeless. Living light. And just fill your mind with this image of subtle, serene, tiny star. Living light. This is the real self. And if other thoughts pop up in the mind, don't fight with them or don't get into some annoyed state. Just say, oh, hello, bye-bye. And just come back. To that awareness of the invisible experiencer. Like tiny, living, serene light. And just relax in this awareness. No need to think too much, but just reviving that memory of the spiritual identity. And guiding this mind to be more subtle. And whatever other thoughts pop up, say, okay, not now, I'm busy, later. And just bring your attention back to this beautiful, subtle, living light operating from the center of the forehead, just behind eyes. And experience the soothing calmness of having all the attention just focused within. And now gently we take on a certain theme, a spiritual topic. And let us choose this topic of this real self, the soul. Is timeless, immortal. Immortal means the soul never dies. Body may end, but the being of light, the real self, just leaves the body and continues the journey. imperishable being of consciousness. Eternal, immortal soul. And just try and grasp what that means. Timeless, immortal, imperishable. Beyond death. Body is like the car and the soul is the driver. The end of a car doesn't mean the end of the driver. Driver just gets out of the car and walks or takes another car. Same here. The real self is this timeless, immortal, eternal being of light. And just let this sink in and deeply reflect on this and hold this image in your mind and these words. And as if completely surrender to these thoughts and this understanding. And allow the feelings that come with this. A certain feeling of freedom. A certain feeling of being safe and secure. Feeling of relief. Just a tiny star, genderless, bodiless, pure living light. A being who is divine in nature, benevolent, just try and get in touch with that higher nature. This introverted state. And just fill the mind with this light and silence. And as we gradually choose to come to the end of this thought experiment, this exploration of the power of your thoughts, and this experiment of exploring your spiritual identity. Just hold this awareness. Try and keep this throughout the rest of the evening. That there is a visible and tangible dimension, the world of bodies and sound and movement and objects. But try and hold that subtle awareness that there is an invisible dimension. And the real self is an invisible experiencer, like a tiny star. And everyone else is also a being of light, eternal, immortal, benevolent, spiritual being. Secure. The soul. It is not I have a soul, but I am the soul. And the body and the physical personality, that is the part that we play out. And the body is like the costume, like the actor and the role. Living light. That is the true self. And the journey in meditation and your spiritual journey is to shift that awareness. Shift from this sense of I am a bodily being, I am male or female, to the real self is an invisible being of consciousness, timeless, genderless, benevolent, innately divine in nature. And so the whole journey and the aim of the meditation is to reinforce the identity of the soul. Om Shanti. You will hear these words more often if you stay with us, and you may know it already if you have been in touch with the Brahma Kumaris before. Om Shanti. This is actually the essence of the experience. Meditation. Om means the real self is a non-physical being. Aum, Atma, Ume. Soul is the real self. Invisible experiencer, being of consciousness is me. And Shanti means peace. So the real self is a being of peace. And we use these words to kind of reinforce that awareness, Om Shanti, the real self is a being of peace. And we also use it to meet each other when we greet. When we say Om Shanti, means the real self is a being of peace, and I'm meeting you also, acknowledging that you are also a being of peace, invisible soul. Now, one of the challenges with meditation is that there is always some pressure of we don't have time. And I'll tell a short anecdote to illustrate this, and then we'll stop. So this is an anecdote of a woodcutter. And this woodcutter starts with a new job. I hope you like stories. We here like stories. Most people like stories. So this woodcutter starts with a new job very enthusiastically, cutting, cutting, cutting. He has his axe, no? Cutting, 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 and he cuts 18 trees the first day. So his boss happy, oh wow, 18 trees. We are going places if you continue like that. So the second day he comes again, cutting, cutting, full of enthusiasm, cutting, 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 cutting. But only 14 trees. So his boss says, what happened? He said, no, I don't know, but don't worry. Tomorrow I'll come more early. I won't take any breaks and I will cut straight till late night. And that is what he did. He came early, cutting, 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 cutting all day, exhausting himself, cutting, cutting. He did not even go to the bathroom. No lunch, cutting, 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 cutting. Late night, only 10 trees. So his boss says, this is not good. First day was good, second day, so, but this is really not good. What is going on? He says, I really don't know. I worked 3 times as hard as the first day. But this is the result. I don't know. So what do you think happened? So his boss asks him, did you sharpen your axe? He said, no, I don't have time for that. I'm working all day. How? I don't have time to sit to sharpen my axe. And when I finish, I am so exhausted, I just fall asleep. But if he takes the time to sharpen his axe, he will cut more trees in less time. And we can get in this frenzy ourselves too. Just working, thinking, working, action, thinking, doing everything that we feel that we have to do. And it never finishes. And then now you come and let me meditate. Let me relax the mind a little bit and explore some other dimension. Many people will say, Una, what's wrong with you? I don't have time for that. But meditation is sharpening your axe, creating inner clarity, knowing what is important and not, creating that discernment power, being clear about aim, being clear about what truly is important and what is not. So meditation is not a luxury, and taking time to explore the spiritual dimension. It is not a luxury. I think it is a necessity. It is sharpening your axe. And then whatever you need to do, you will do it with more clarity, with more discernment, and faster, and without less, what is it, stress and exhaustion. So it is not about having time or not. It is about being clear what is priority. This woodcutter, it is not about having time to sharpen the axe or not. You need a proper instrument. So let us pay more attention to the quality of our mind and the quality of our thinking and the quality of our power to discern and our inner wisdom. Then we will go through life with much more fun, much more interest, and more clarity, and easier to deal with challenges. Thank you. And we'll meet again tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.